Welcome to this video on drawing two-point aerial perspective. This is what we call the cheese wedge principle that I'm going to be introducing. And the first thing we need to do is draw ourselves a horizon line, because perspective always needs a horizon line. So that is our horizon line. And this is one of the vanishing points at this end, and this is the other one at the far end. You want to get your vanishing points as far apart as possible because we don't want too extreme an angle. The next thing we need to do is, bearing in mind that we're drawing in for bird's eye perspective, we need to make sure that everything stays below the horizon line because we're looking down on it from that bird's eye view. So the first thing we need to do to create our cheese wedge is to draw a vertical line, a line which is at 90 degrees to the horizon line, and that will be the front corner of our cheese wedge. Now, when you're drawing in perspective, in two-point perspective like this, the first thing to do to make sure that your perspective drawing works out, every time you draw a vertical line, you need to join the top and the bottom of your vertical line to both vanishing points. So I'm going to show you what I mean. Here we go. We're going to join it to this vanishing point on the right, and top and bottom. So we have it joined to our vanishing point, and then we need to join the top and bottom of it to the vanishing point on the left here. And there we have it. Okay, so this is, let's call it the front of our building for want of a better example of what we're going to be drawing. This is the front corner of the building. It disappears off into the distance, and finally these imaginary lines meet the horizon and vanish over it. Now we're going to put in our next vertical line. So let's imagine that this is the right-hand front corner of the building facing onto the street here. Now you can see I've put in a vertical and I've fitted it in between these two lines which join up to the vanishing point on the right. What I need to do now is to make sure that it joins up to this other vanishing point on the left as well. And so that's what I'm doing here, is making sure that I immediately join the top and the bottom of every vertical line I put into my diagram to both of the vanishing points. So now we've got the first back corner of our building, and we're going to go and put in the second back so what am I talking about? Yes, the second back corner of our building. And once again, I've fitted it in between these lines which link it to this vanishing point. I'm going to go ahead and join it top and bottom to the opposite vanishing point. So there we have it. And you may be wondering, okay, we've got 1, 2, 3 corners to this building. Where's the fourth corner, which we might not possibly be able to see? Well, you can see where these lines are intersecting up here. Oopsie. So what we want to do is just fill in a vertical there, and that is pretty much where the back corner of our building is. So now what I'm going to do is fill in the lines just to show us what is our building and not confuse us too much as to what isn't the building line. So these lines are going to be a bit wavery because I'm not using any sort of ruler application or anything to join them. But I want you to see what this building looks like. It might look a little bit wonky because drawing like this is not perfect, but it will be okay. So this is our building. Oops. Okay, that is too wonky for my liking, so let me go and take it out. All right, so now I'm going to put in a little bit of shading. This line at the back, let me just make it a dotted line because I actually wouldn't see. And these, obviously these lines behind here, this is the base of the walls, but we can't actually see them behind there. Those would be hidden by our building. So there we've got the lines of our building, and I'm going to go and put in some shading just so that you can more easily see what we're dealing with. So let me go here. Bump up the size of my brush a little bit. All right, so this is the roof of our building. Roof of building. Because it's bird's eye perspective, so we can see the roof because we're looking down on it. And then we have the front of our building here, facing onto the street. And let me put a little bit of something over that so that we can tell the difference between what it is by color. And then we're going to have the side of our building. Let's put it here. So this side, oh my goodness. So we have roof, sides, and so on. Now, what if we wanted some windows, say, in our, let's call it the factory floor? That's pretty much what it looks like, a rather strange, flat-looking building. So if we wanted some windows and doors in the sides of our building, we could do them like this. Remember, we have our vertical edges of our windows, so let's put a door in first, one of those big, what do you call it, hanging, those big roll-up doors, because this is an industrial building. So if I put the line down here, then what we need to do is, I'm going to change color so that you can see what I'm doing. I need to join this vertical to the top and bottom of each vanishing point, remember? It's going to go like that. Actually, I won't worry with the left-hand vanishing point here because we're just working in this wall of the building. So there it sits, and now I can go in and I put in the other side of that roll-up door. So let's put it like that. Still fitting in between our lines, joining it to the vanishing point. So that's how the door would sit. And imagine it's one of those kind of corrugated, strange roll-up doors. Then we might want a line of windows which goes along here. So if I put in one edge of the window like that and join up the top and bottom, well, I don't really need to join the top because I've drawn it from the top downwards, but if we join like that, then we can see we can fill in a row of window frames here. So as long as I keep them in between this line which joins to the vanishing point, I'm going to end up with my windows working quite well. So there you have your windows. This one looks a little bit wonky because I wasn't very accurate. You do need to be accurate getting your verticals at 90 degrees to the horizon line, and then working carefully along your vanishing lines, or the lines that join to the vanishing point. We can do a similar thing on this side. So imagine we've got a line of windows here. There we go with our vertical, joining it top and bottom to its vanishing point counterpart. Let me use the right color so that you can actually see what I'm doing. And there we go. As long as I now fit in my lines for the windows right directly in between those vanishing point lines. I'm going to take that out because I'm not happy with how it's looking. Eyesight not being what it might. There we go, following along that orange line, and another window like this. So that's your cheese wedge principle. And there are a few things to remember about bird's eye view perspective. The first thing is that the top of this line, the top of the front corner line, must stay below the horizon line because we want to be looking down on it. So it has to be below the horizon line for us to be able to see the roof. Then the other thing is that immediately join top and bottom of, when you're constructing your initial building or box-like thing, what you need to do is immediately join the top and bottom of each vertical line to both of the vanishing points. If you run into trouble, it's probably because you didn't join to one of the vanishing points. And that's about it with bird's eye perspective.